And one of the things I like about the springtime is I get to hear the kids playing, and I get to hear all the birds and they're chirping and everything. I get to hear the squirrels, the beautiful voices of the girls.
How dare you?
And I owe it all to Chris Maher and Healthy Hearing Now. Well, good morning, Chris.
Hey, good morning, Tony. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm so glad to have you on the air. You hear me talking about you all the time. We're always talking about Healthy Hearing Now, and here's the man himself. Yeah, I tell you, and I guess you're doing everything you can with the coronavirus to keep the office clean and everything. Tell us all about it, Mr. Chris Maher.
Absolutely. It's definitely a new world out there, and one of the things that we've obviously done is abide by the CDC protocols, masking, Lysol. We try to stage separation between patients when one comes in and when one leaves. But using the technology that we have now is absolutely amazing. There was an individual that came to me, and he had purchased a pair of hearing aids. He was due to receive them, but he was worried about all the COVID. So I said, don't worry. Sit in your car. I'll hand you the hearing aids through the window. And I programmed them. I fine-tuned them because I've got my laptop. I just brought it out back, and we did it using the Wi-Fi. And it was contactless audiology right there.
Mm-hmm.
We also have a service where if people call us ahead of time, let us know they're coming, we'll go out, we'll take the hearing aids, bring them back in, give them a good cleaning, bring them right back to them. Couldn't be easier.
Man, you've got it squared away. Now, I've had two pair of hearing aids from Mr. Chris Maher, Healthy Hearing Now, on Virginia Beach Boulevard, 43199. 431-1999. I love them both. They are both fantastic, but the newer ones do have some improvements, and I'd like you to address that, Chris Maher of Healthy Hearing Now, how through the years, even if you had a set of hearing aids 2 or 3 years ago, they're improving rapidly all the time, and you can hear better than you were just a short time ago. Take it away, Chris.
Absolutely. We had a gentleman in here earlier this week, 96 years old, almost 97, and when he came in, he was very withdrawn. Tested him, fit him with a pair of hearing aids, and it was as if you flipped a switch. He just came back to life, and he said, my old hearing aids have never sounded like these.
That's right.
And his son came back in about 2 hours after he brought his dad home, and he said, man, I can't thank you enough. My dad is going off on these. He said, they're absolutely fantastic. And here's a 96-year-old who is sharp as a tack. And when we first saw him, I was a little bit worried about him. And all of a sudden, he's talking about how years ago, he's for lack of a better term, a gunsmith. And he was talking about windage and humidity and elevation and how it affects the trajectory. 96 years old.
Yeah.
And he's got this.
Yeah.
But all of it was locked inside, and he just, because he couldn't hear clearly, because he couldn't communicate, he just kind of sat there and smiled and nodded and fell asleep. But now that he can hear and communicate, man, he's on fire. The other thing that we can do with these, Tony, is I can program hearing aids over the telephone. So in other words, if distance is an issue or if somebody is in lockdown and they need an adjustment, if we have programmed their hearing aids in the office, then all I have to do is send them an invite, and it's almost like a FaceTime session where I use their phone and I can adjust their hearing aids. If they need some help, they're not quite sure how to do something. With the advent of Zoom or the popularity of Zoom and everything else, I can do a session right over the phone. Now, fantastic.
One of the things we've discussed many times, you and I, I've been to the office a million times. I know Chris. I consider him a friend. He's a great guy, personable, charming, and he knows what he knows what he's talking about. There is a real downside to not taking care of this. Your hearing is not going to get better by itself. It's probably going to get worse, and there are downsides of not addressing it, Mr. Chris Maher, and what are they?
Absolutely. I can't stress the importance of coming in just for a yearly checkup. Just this past week, using my video otoscope, I've got a video camera, we shine a light down the canal, spotted a raging infection in this guy's ear. Wow. Immediate medical referral. Okay. Another one came in, huge perforation in his eardrum.
Whoa.
Another one came in, foreign body, huge clump of wax stuck with something else, I have the equipment to flush all this out, or to make the medical referrals. But the downside of not addressing your hearing loss is tremendous, because it affects us socially, behaviorally, cognitively. The effect that it has not only on the individual but on those around them, it's pretty profound. Doesn't mean that you're going to get dementia if you don't wear hearing aids, but you can dramatically lower your risk, because there have been consistent research findings that say there's a huge correlation between untreated hearing loss, cognitive decline, dementia, the risk of falling, all of these types of things. And simply by addressing your hearing loss, you can mitigate or reduce the risk of those things. It's not a magic pill, but, man, if you can do something for yourself, why wouldn't you? It's one of the most powerful things that you can do for successful aging.
We're talking to Chris Maher, Healthy Hearing Now, 431-1999. He's on Virginia Beach Boulevard. I would like you to address some of the things. I know you helped out our good friends at Atlantic Shores. I know you've helped out people who want to be able to hear a sermon, or they want to hear what the rabbi's saying in the synagogue. Tell me how you facilitated that. What have you done with that, Mr. Maher? Go ahead, sir.
There's something called a T-coil, and it's a small component that can go inside a hearing aid. And when that is combined with something called a hearing loop, it is absolutely amazing. With these new hearing aids, you can stream a cell phone directly into your ears. You can stream the TV into your ears. But with a T-coil in your hearing aids, if a facility such as Atlantic Shores or the Sandler Center, and they do have these set up, I donated 2 of them to Atlantic Shores. What it does is it allows people in an audience to hear every single word clearly. It's as if the presentation is being streamed directly into their hearing aids. And there are times when hearing aids just aren't enough. When you have poor word recognition, when there's background noise, when there's distance involved and things of that nature, poor acoustical environments, the ability to stream that broadcast directly into your hearing aids is absolutely a game changer. Because if people can't hear, they won't go, and they're missing out on so much.
Yeah. That's a big part of their lives, too. You don't want them to do that. One of the things that I like, and we've discussed this before, Chris Maher, Healthy Hearing Now, 431-1999, Virginia Beach Boulevard, is getting the streaming, whether it be your phone or your TV. How's that work, Mr. Maher?
Amazingly well. There's a video on my website, healthyhearingnow.com, of a young mother, and she's hearing her daughter over the cell phone for the first time, and she breaks down in tears. She has never heard it this clearly. Mm-hmm. And it's so easy. It doesn't matter if you have an Android phone, an Apple phone. You just pair you pair your cell phone with the hearing aids. We help you do that here in the office, and you can now go hands-free. All you have to do is just answer the phone the way that you normally do, and that call streams in stereo into your hearing aids, and you are now hands-free. In the same way, you can have the TV stream directly into your hearing aids, and that is a game changer, because I've got some people that are watching their grandkids, and the kids are asleep, and they don't want to disturb them. They can mute the TV and still hear everything beautifully.
Right.
And I'll tell you something, Tony. With this lockdown and everybody's in their homes right now, I think people are noticing more and more the hearing loss because the TV's going up. When people are wearing masks, they can't see what people are saying because the face is partially blocked, and it's just becoming more and more evident.
Now, maintenance, if I can do it, anyone can do it. Maintenance on these wonderful hearing aids is very easy, Mr. Chris Maher, Healthy Hearing Now, Virginia Beach Boulevard, 431-1999. Tell us how easy the maintenance is, Chris. It's very easy.
It's very easy, Tony. In fact, I can even draw you a picture. All you have to do, hey, this is a full-service joint.
Right.
All you have to do at night is you take the hearing aid out, you wipe the tip off with an alcohol wipe or a moist face cloth, and you put it in your charger. In the morning, you take it out, you put it back on, and you're done. You never have to turn the hearing aids off. You never have to turn the hearing aids on. They automatically go off and turn back on as you put them in and take them out of the charger. One charge is going to last you about 24 to 30 hours. It only takes about 3 hours to charge it up. It's never been easier. If you can put it in your ear and take it out, you're done. All you have to do is just wipe off the little tip. That's it.
Now, I don't want to bug you because you've given me so much free stuff through the years and everything, but we give you a lot of commercial. We work together. That's what we do. Me and Chris Maher. We've known each other a long time now, 5 years, going on 5 years. And what I wanted to ask you about, how I find myself in these ridiculous situations, like when I had the tag from the hearing aid in. Go ahead, tell them.
I've got pictures of that, Tony.
Well, tell the listeners about that. What an idiot I am. Go ahead.
No. And it's not uncommon that people get things stuck in their ear. I had a gentleman in here.
But you can't lose the dome. Has anybody ever lost the dome in their ear?
Once in a while, yes. Somebody
God.
came to me yesterday, in fact, and I looked in his ear, and he had a pair of hearing aids from another manufacturer. And I said, well, there's a dome in your ear. It's the little earbud on the tip of the hearing aid.
Right.
And it was wedged in there pretty deep, and I could tell that it had been really, really, it had attached itself to the canal. I've got special equipment where I can irrigate the ear in a minute and a half, no discomfort, and you're done. That sort of procedure used to take about 15 to 20 minutes of scraping and tugging and pulling, very uncomfortable. Today, minute and a half, done.
But it never happens with a Phonak dome, does it?
Rarely. And the thing is, if you put it on correctly, it's not going to happen.
Right.
It rarely.
Well,
rarely
let me tell you what happened to me. So yesterday morning, I'm in a rush, and then when I come home.
Do you have something stuck in your ear, Tony?
No, I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't think so, because after I took the hearing aids out, I realized that I hadn't put in the dome properly, and the dome fell out. This time, as I was urinating, and I think it fell right into the bowl. And so it
didn't fall out the other side, did it?
Yeah, it did. Yeah, I think it did. I think it fell out. I think it was because I took the hearing aids off, and then I looked back, and the dome was gone. And I found something fall out, but I couldn't find it anywhere on the deck, and so I figured it went into the toilet bowl. I'll have Mike look. I don't think it's in my ear. I don't think that's the case at all. But what I wanted to ask you is, I hate to come and bug you all the time, and if I wanted to order, what's the dome size? Because I can't tell when I go on Amazon for the Phonak. I think it's the Model M, the Audio M. What dome size do I look for?
I would have to. I think you are the medium closed.
Medium closed.
Yep, and I can send you some. Don't worry about that.
Well, I can always drive over there.
You could, and I could look in your ear and make sure there's nothing going on in there.
All right. You're going to be around today?
I'm going to be around today.
All right. So if I drop by after work, that's cool?
Absolutely. You are always welcome here. And that's the other thing, Tony. I always tell people you're never a pain, you're never a bother. When people come to me for help, it's my commitment. I'm old school. My word is my bond. I will go out of my way to make sure that you have the answers. I'm extremely patient. Take the time you need. You are not rushed in. You're not just a number, and I think that's one of the things that people miss in medical types of settings today and many others, where it's just get them in, get them out. Okay, who's next? It's not that way here.
I get so many positive reports on you. I've had them from my buddy, Reverend Don. Other individuals have said what a wonderful experience it is. And one of the things I'd like you to address is the one gentleman who was a big Bob Seger fan. And he said...
Oh, he came in yesterday.
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right.
You know what he said? He said, I can't believe how natural this stuff is.
Right.
He said, I can't, I thought it would sound like I don't know.
Yeah.
He said, but it's so crystal clear. And when I stream the songs from my radio or from my phone into my ears, he said, it's like I'm hearing it in my head, but it sounds so natural.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I had one
true.
lady tell me, the only way I really know that these things are working is because I'm not saying huh and what all the time.
Right.
Because they are so natural. They do give you that depth. You are able to hear those softer voices in hard-to-hear environments.
Yes.
And hearing aids are not designed to drown out or to get rid of background noise. What they do is they help you hear in spite of that noise.
Yes.
And it depends on the level of technology.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hearing aids out there. I won't carry the junk.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't.
Mm-hmm.
It's a, Not going to do it.
Well, if I don't see you today,
Phonak and Signia are fantastic.
If I don't see you today, maybe I'll see you Monday. I don't know. I'll just see if I can find it on the floor. But what he's saying is so true.
I'll either send you some, I'll drive them out, or you can stop by.
All right. But what he's saying is so true, and because I initially I thought, well, I love the ones that I had from 5 years ago. I love them. So I go to a Civil War show in Richmond wearing the new ones. And I notice I'm talking to an elderly gentleman, and his son is about 5 feet behind him. And I could hear them both perfectly clear. Now, remember, I'm in a huge hall with probably 1,000 people all talking at the same time. And I said, that's it. I'm buying these new ones because that was the difference. And I guess if it makes any difference to you, I've noticed this with the new ones. You hear yourself a lot better, which is good to hear yourself when you're talking, right?
Absolutely. How you hear yourself is how you generate speech.
Right.
And it really, really is about quality of life. I have sat and watched so many people, and it's like the weight of the world has just been lifted from their shoulders when they realize they can hear clearly. I've dealt with a lot of people that had given up on hearing. A woman came in, told me she had given up on music. She couldn't hear it anymore. It was all distorted, so I put a pair of hearing aids on her. So what do you like to hear? She said the 3 tenors. She said opera. So I said, you like the tenors? She goes, oh! So I put the 3 tenors on, and she just started crying. I said, does it sound good? And she just was sobbing, and I said, tell you what, enjoy. I'll come back in 10 minutes. So I left her there.
Yeah.
And she just had a wonderful, wonderful 10 minutes of listening to something that she didn't think she would ever have. But it deeply, deeply affects people emotionally when they can become a part of as opposed to a part from. And it takes, in some regards, what I do is almost like being a chef. You get the hearing aid, but then it's your recipe. It's how I fine-tune it. It's how I choose which dome to put on. It's how I talk to you and I listen. If you have a spouse or a family member, I bring them in. I listen to their voice. I can zoom in on their voice frequencies to make sure that I can really, really fine-tune just for them, although occasionally I have people say, hey, can you mute her or him? So,
hey, I got one more question. Let me ask you about this. Mary Ann checks in.
Tony, I can make them hear better, but I can't make them listen to you.
Mary Ann checks in, Chris, and Mary Ann wants to know about where did you go to school? Like, for what you do, what educational background do you have for this?
I got my degree is kind of a mouthful. It's bilingual multicultural education. And a lot of the work that I did for my master's degree has to do with how the brain recognizes and processes speech. And if there is no pathological issue going on, in other words, if you don't have any issues with diseases of the ear or mechanical breakdowns, it's all about how do you get that signal as clearly as possible up to the brain, and then what are different ways that we can help you to make use and to process that information, because you do not hear with your ears. You hear with the brain. Mm-hmm. And that's why I'm always saying early treatment makes all the difference in the world. You know, earlier you said that the hearing loss ain't going to get any better. It's not. It's permanent. It's irreversible, but it is treatable. And incidentally, if people have diabetes, they are twice as likely to have hearing loss, and the hearing loss that they have is likely to be twice as bad. And I've seen it day in and day out. Because the same thing that causes diabetic retinopathy, the same diabetic neuropathy is the same thing that causes diabetic hearing loss. It all has to do with the microcirculatory system and the blood flow. And where blood doesn't go where it needs to flow, well, bad things happen.
Well, I can say, I just can say, I don't know what any more I can say than I can do whatever I want, go anywhere I want. I bought 2 pair of hearing aids from Mr. Chris Maher. He and the person he works with, Emily, excellent service, excellent hearing aids. You're not going to do bad. Go see Mr. Chris Maher. Healthy Hearing Now. What's the exact address on Virginia Beach Boulevard?
It is 2648 Virginia Beach Boulevard. They're doing a little bit of construction out there, but we are open. We are accessible. And, Tony, I've got a new addition to the staff. Her name is Andrea. She's been wearing hearing aids since she, I guess, was in 2nd grade. And to look at her, you would never know it. She's dynamite. She's got a Bachelor of Science degree. absolutely fantastic addition
to the family. Very
Patience
good.
Lover.
All right, my man. Well, look, if all goes according to plan, I guess I'll see you later.
All right, Tony. Looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Hey, have a great weekend.
You too, man. There you go. Chris Maher. I love the hearing aids. They come with my highest recommendation. He's a great guy. Chris Maher, Healthy Hearing Now, 431-1999. Hear like nature intended.